Welcome in. Our thanks to our friends at the Battles Inn. Hopefully a long series of these to come as we go through spring and into the summer here on the Jeff Cameron Show and Warchant TV. James Williams on our screen right now. You see him, the redshirt junior defensive lineman. He waves hello. Very, very cordial. Good, sir. Your initial interview to start the spring and your first moments and impressions of Tallahassee revealed that you were adjusting nicely. You felt welcomed. You mentioned the humidity. It's only going to get worse. How's that going with the humidity in spring football?
Yeah, for those first couple of days were a bit of a struggle, but it's been better. It's been better. It wasn't that warm outside today. It must have been like 66, but no, it was a good day. The first couple of days were definitely a little warm, so like you guys said, it's only going to get worse. So just trying to prepare my body for that. And we're going to spend a lot of time outside during our off time in May to make sure I'm prepared for it.
Today was beautiful. You had to love today. Today was gorgeous. I was making it a point to get outside today.
Yep.
So you've added, I'm jealous. I wish I were in a position that you're in to be able to get after gaining weight. I know you said you initially gained some 20 pounds. I'll clue you in. My wife is not a nutritionist. Your fiance is. So take us through the process, and I'm really going to get at it, and that is that how much weight have you gained? Where are you at right now?
So right now I weigh 265 pounds. When I came to Tallahassee, I weighed 245. I spent the first couple of days really trying to adjust to that and moving around at that weight, making sure that I was good and could still, still had my speed, still had my agility, all that good stuff, and everything translated and only come with, like the added benefit of power and stuff like that. So lots of good stuff coming from the weight gain.
What do you get to eat the most of? Just a bunch of red meat? What do you get to get after?
Yeah, big red meat guy. Lots of steak, lots of beef, ground beef. I have bison from time to time. That's really good. And then I sprinkle in some white meat every once in a while, like some chicken and stuff like that. Just some good stuff, and then just potatoes and carbs on the side, rice if I have time.
So how many calories a day are you taking in? I'm thinking about the effort to gain weight, the position you play, what is going to be unrelenting heat soon enough. You're at 265. I guess a better question might be, what's your goal weight?
It's 265. I feel comfortable playing at this weight, being able to move like how I do and still be able to play it, like give it a little bit of power and stuff like that. I'm not calorie counting anymore. During like the peak time that I had to, it was around 7,000 to 8,000 a day, which if going off like the daily recommended value, that's like 4 times what you're supposed to be eating. So, very, very sorry to anybody who's listening right now that doesn't get to eat that much, but some part of it was fun, part of it wasn't.
I'm kind of curious before we get into the meat and potatoes, speaking of food, of the defense and how things are going in spring. I was at the scrimmage on Saturday. Saw you make a play or two. But I got to ask you, okay, so I get dropped. So there's a reason I'm asking this question. One of my best friends in all the world is from Council Bluffs, Iowa. My other dear friend happened to graduate from Nebraska. We used to always yell at each other about our football allegiances. I'm a Florida State guy. So let's say I get dropped down in Fort Dodge, Iowa. What are we doing in Fort Dodge if I'm there for 2 days? You and I are friends. Let's just assume for this hypothetical, I get dropped down in Fort Dodge, Iowa. What are we doing, buddy? What kind of fun are we having?
I cannot believe I'm being asked this question. For me personally, it's where my future wife is from. So I just spend a lot of time with their family when I'm there. There's not really much to do. I'm going to be honest. There's this main event power plates, Dave and Buster's style place that you could go to. It's called Fort Frenzy. Other than that, you hopefully know somebody that goes to the community college and you hang out with them. Otherwise, there's not much to do. It's just a lot of corn, a lot of driving, a lot of nothing, except for obviously, like I said, the future in-laws.
So did Lincoln feel like a massive metropolis when you got there?
Absolutely not. No, absolutely not. No. If you took Fort Dodge and like put a bunch of trains going through the middle of it and made it pretty industrial, it's the same town. Tallahassee is a different experience because not only is the climate and topography different, but I mean, you go outside and it's right now it's 60 degrees. If you go to if we're going to Fort Dodge right now, it could be 40. So the weather that we got here in January is kind of what they're experiencing now. So that was a big step up, but Lincoln's not that much different. No.
I've been to Lincoln, but it's been a minute. I was just kind of curious. So you were asked this question when you got here about how difficult or easy it was to adjust to, I've never, it's a different era of college football where people come and go to a lot of different places. Were you nervous at all about the adjustment, and how quickly did you get comfortable in Tallahassee? Are you comfortable in Tallahassee?
Yeah, I feel very comfortable in Tallahassee. Obviously, like I told you, it's a different experience. The weather, the people, just like trying to adjust because I've never lived this far down south before. But I love it. It really feels like home. It feels like everybody here is super nice. Is like accepted me as one of them. I don't even really know if that's how it works because not everybody is actually from Tallahassee, but it's definitely it's up there, maybe tied with Kansas City for my favorite place I've ever lived at. I love everything. Like there's something to do here every single weekend. There's something that is live and active that I can go do. I'm not stuck inside the house all day because of the bad weather. And then I really feel like, just like the community is super close knit and tight together. And that helps with a lot of that.
So what is it about? I've really enjoyed talking to Tony White, and we all got a chance to talk to Coach Knighton, but I've listened carefully to Tony White, and we've, I've certainly seen a 3-3-5, but Florida State's not run it in my time of covering this team. What is it you like the most about this defense, and what is the most difficult aspect to learn? Because I know you're being counted on to be a leader and help teach some of the guys who have never run this before. And how's that going, I guess, this spring? And also, give me some, I guess, talking points regarding the 3-3-5 that you like and maybe difficult to learn or something that you're trying to impart to the other guys.
Yeah. So I would just say that Tony's really smart. It would not surprise me if a head coaching job is in his future. The way he analyzes and depicts the game makes all three aspects of the defense, D-line, linebacker, DBs, they all work in unison. It's the same system that the Kansas City Chiefs run. So I've been watching the defense like through my own eyes for the last 7 years. And now I'm in it. Lots of blitzes, lots of disguises, lots of different, like sneaky, different good looks. And now that he's at Florida State, and now that we have all these crazy guys on defense, all these big showstoppers, there's guys like Daryl Jackson and Shaheem and Christian White, and we got some good linebackers coming up. All those guys help run his system a lot better. And as for the learning it part, it was a bit of a struggle at first, and it always is. You're moving from whatever Coach Fuller's defense last year was. I'm pretty sure it was a 4-3, 4-3-4, and flipping it and putting it on its landscape. Sometimes it's hard because you're learning new terminology, but at the end of the day, everything's kind of the same. So you just got to get used to it, take good reps, and I think that's starting to reflect. I think the last couple of days on the defensive side of the ball, we've been really dominant, and I think Coach Norvell likes what he sees.
Yeah, well, last year was a little bit of a bunch of different things, a hodgepodge. All defenses obviously morph into different things, a little 4-2-5, a little, yeah, like you said. But I am kind of curious, obviously the production was there last year for you guys on defense at Nebraska. I went back through and watched all of the games from Nebraska, and outside of a couple of performances, I think for the most part you would classify that as a very successful defense. It's why people were so excited that Tony came to Tallahassee. And so when I hear you describing the personnel, it almost sounds like you're talking about, and I don't want you to disparage anybody, but it almost sounds like you feel like there's been an upgrade in overall talent and versatility that Tony has to work with here in Tallahassee. Is that an accurate descriptor?
Yeah, I'd say it's pretty accurate. That's no like disrespect to my boys from Nebraska. Obviously, sure. A lot of them play there. I love and appreciate them. I just think like some of the guys that we have down here are built different. Not like again, literally no disrespect. It's literally like we went from Ty Robinson, who will be a second round pick, should be a first round pick in my opinion. He's a dog. he weighed 290, 300 and was like 6'5" and move well. Daryl Jackson makes him look small. And again, no disrespect to Ty. He'll be a dog in the league. He'll be great. Daryl Jackson makes him look small. A lot of the guys in the D-line room are like that. It just kind of like that Southern mantra of guys from the South who are, big, like not like, the big corn-fed boys, but not
Yeah.
corn-fed, if that makes
Right.
sense.
No, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's just bigger bodies, different speeds. Obviously, football reigns supreme down here, so it's a different speed. But I'm really liking where we're at with our guys. I really like that where we're at in the defense and where we're at like throughout spring ball. There's a couple of things to clean up, but I think we're going to get it all done.
In fairness to anybody that is listening to this that may have played with you at Nebraska, Daryl Jackson makes everybody look small.
Yeah.
Daryl Jackson is a massive human being, and to lay eyes on him is intimidating. I don't suppose you, being a tough player yourself, were intimidated, but were you kind of like, oh, that's different? And that's what it sounds like you're describing to me. And I think Daryl does that to a lot of people.
Yeah. My first reaction when I met him was, I'm really glad I'm playing on the same side of the ball. I'm not going to have to block that guy.
What do you think is your best attribute?
I think what I bring in the pass rush game, and a lot of people who have been following me for a little bit know that, just my ability to take over games in the pass rush sense, making sure that, because third down is just such a different portion of football, and I think most people who watch football at any level would agree with that. It's just so much different when the offense has to pass the ball. Offense tackles know exactly what you're going to do. I just become a lot more dominant in situational football. I feel like, like that play that you saw me make was during a 2-minute session, and they were driving. They had got down to about the 40 or 45, and then that was the end of the drive. So making sure that I can get us off the field and become one of the best third down defenses in the country is my priority this year.
What is something that you feel like you've had to work on and that you are working on? If your strength is pass rush, obviously I think you're going to tell me that you want to be on the field more against the run.
For sure. I would never say that the run has been a huge liability for me. I just have been kind of small, so I haven't been able to play against it like as well as I want to. I just kind of want to move into that Abdul Carter type role where I'm all over the field. I'm making plays. Like I'm not just a blocking dummy on the edge waiting for the next play if the ball's not near me. Like I want to be able to make lots of different plays in this defense, mostly because, I know it, I've been in it. I know what, even the DBs are going to do on most plays. I just want to be a guy who is all over the field making plays. And that's where I feel like I can take the next step. It's not just in the pass game for me, also in the run.
That's a hell of a bar to set. Abdul Carter is going to go 2 or 3 in the draft, right? You make it 1?
Depends on if the Browns want to take quarterback.
Are you? So I feel like we could get into this. Are you a geek like me? Do you like to play the role of GM? Do you like to do this and have fun and the draft is a couple weeks away.
Yeah, no, big GM guy. Got a mock draft board going up and everything.
Boom. You like any of the quarterbacks?
Yeah, so I haven't scouted Cam Ward a lot. I'm sure you probably know more about him playing against him or haven't seen him play. I personally played against Shador. I think that if he does have better O-line play, and even if he doesn't, I mean he'll be used to it. But he can be a dissector, he can attack the field. I think he'll be really good. Obviously, the drawback to that is that you're not going to be able to throw to Travis Hunter every single week. But I think if he has a more balanced overall play, he can be a really good, solid quarterback at that level for a long period of time. And then, like you said, Cam Ward, like from what I see from him, he won't be able to stand back in the pocket quite as much, but I think he'll be pretty good in the league too. James,
how much pride did you guys take in totally shutting Colorado down? That was a dominant performance. I watched every snap of that game.
Yeah, very, very emotional game, I'd say. Probably, and from the experiences that I hear of the people sitting in the stands, one of the most electric atmospheres I've ever been in. We had lost the previous year pretty badly. And we just, we wanted our get back. So that was an important game for us. We knew that they were talking a whole lot before the game started. So we wanted to make sure that we we talked back. And after, I think the pick six that Tommy Hill had at the beginning of the game is the loudest I've ever heard a football stadium before. And like I said, I grew up in Kansas City and then went to a ton of playoff games, and it was louder than any of that. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to getting back to that kind of environment. I know Doug's going to be rocking just as much. So
yeah, I'll get you out. It definitely will. And I'm excited to see this thing come together. You come in at just the right time with the renovations and the stadium opening back up in full. Obviously, my father's excited about that. Just as an aside, a 40-year season ticket holder, he can't wait to get back in there. Last couple of things here. I just want to ask you this: what's it like to deal with? I know in the scrimmage, and the coaches have talked about this, so I'm not revealing trade secrets. There've been some guys with some nagging injuries, so they didn't have the depth and rotation that they're going to have. But I am kind of curious of what it's like for you as a defensive player to deal with the tempo that Gus is going to try to throw at you. And it appears that maybe earlier in some practices before we had an opportunity to watch his media that he has been able to throw at you some. What's that like? Obviously, that's different. Not everybody gets to see that on a week-to-week basis.
No, I think that's good. I think it's great that we're having to prepare against that. You know, we're making sure that we're in shape to play against it, you know, making sure that it speeds the game up, honestly. And we have a couple of guys in the D-line room specifically that I think that really is advantageous for. I think both of the Desir twins, they're both going to be really, really, really good. And then Juju, he'll be really good as well. But that's important for them to see that kind of speed, because obviously, like, I've played against tempo offenses before. It's not something new. But getting acclimated to the speed of it, getting acclimated to getting the play call from Tony, getting the making sure you're running around the field, getting in shape. All of those are such good things. And Coach Malzahn's offense is really, really, really versatile. There's a lot of different things that as a D lineman I can, kind of like see out throughout the field and depict what's going to happen before the play. But he runs so much exotic different screens, play action to keep you honest. He's not somebody who just falls in love with the run or the pass. If it's working, he'll always stay balanced. I think those are all great things, because he'll probably be one of the best OCs that we play all year. And that'll help us a lot. Obviously, we play Alabama at the beginning of the year, and their offense, at least if it's anything like it was at Washington, is going to continue to be great. Then we play Clemson. Garrett Riley's a really good offensive coordinator. I'm not sure if they go tempo or not, but if they don't, then hey, we're ready. We're slowing down the pace of the game for that, and we're feeling more acclimated. We're more in shape for that. And even like when we play Miami, it'll be really advantageous for us.
Yeah, I was just about to go there. Final question for you, James. You've been very, very kind with your time, and I appreciate it. And our thanks again to the Battle's Inn. Have you given yourself a chance? I mean, obviously you've played in big-time atmospheres all over the country. I am kind of curious. Have you thought about what it's going to be like to run out of that tunnel in game number 1, primetime, Alabama comes to town? I mean, a clash of the Titans, at least certainly reputationally, should be a lot of fun.
Most definitely, and I'm very excited. Those are the kind of games you get up for. Those are the kind of games you live for, especially as somebody who has always died wanting to play this sport, and especially at a university as prestigious as this. I've personally, as the last 2 years at Nebraska, I've played the last 2 national champions.
Yeah.
Last year at Ohio State, and then the first year when we got the brakes blown off us by Michigan. So I would say, like, I'm not hiding from the competition. We were in a back and forth battle with the national champions last year and held them to the lowest point total of the year. So it's not something that I'm scared of or shying away from, for sure.
Yeah, you're not going to have to tackle a running back that's any more devastating than Henderson. So you got to imagine that. I mean, and I watched the game against Ohio State. You guys were phenomenal. Probably should have won that game.
Jenkins and Henderson only had 64 rushing yards in that game. So
I'm aware, and I wanted to softball that for you. So there you go. For sure. Hey, James, man, this has been great. I want to have you on again at some point. Thanks again for your time. Best of luck the rest of spring. And you hang in there, and I'll talk to you again real soon. Okay, buddy?
For sure, Jeff. I'd love to be back on. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. You take care. That's James Williams, redshirt junior, coming over from Nebraska. Big things expected from him. Obviously, they're going to need him not only just to be a good player, but a guy that can help teach some of these guys as well. I want to give a hearty thanks to our friends at the Battle's Inn yet again. Obviously, you can always roll on over there and make sure that you're giving to the Battle's Inn. And we're hoping to have a few more guys on as this goes on. But I think certainly Tom and I can come back and react to that conversation. James gave us a lot to eat from right there. There's a guy that is thoughtful, and there's a guy that has been involved in a lot of big moments and isn't afraid to talk about expectations. That's it. That's all. Thanks for watching Warchant TV and listening to the Jeff Cameron Show.
Watching this video on Wednesday, April 9th, today is Warchant Day at garnetandgold.com, where all Warchant.com subscribers receive 25% off all FSU gear at garnetandgold.com. If you're not a subscriber of Warchant.com, you're really missing out. It pays to be a subscriber to Warchant.com. You have special days like this where you can get 25% off all FSU gear at Garnet and Gold. Make sure to head over to the Tribal Council on Warchant.com to get your code today. Today only at Warchant.com for Warchant subscribers.